Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the WCS America round of 16. We've already had our first game, and what a cracking game it was. Ro16 joined me at the analysis table. That was a great way to start the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it could have been much better than that. Entertaining games. First game was a little bit like, oh, I hope not the entire series is going to be like that. But the second game was solid already. And I think the third game on Poland night was really fun. It's just a fun game of StarCraft, so that's what we're here for.
Great to open up. I mean, it's fairly early in America right now. It was the morning when we kicked off. I think we're just about past midday now in most places. So it was a good way to kick him out of bed, really, wasn't it?
Yes, that's one way to wake up.
We're going to move on to our second match very shortly. But first, let's show you the 4 players in Group A. They look like this. Hopefully you can see them in a moment. There we go. Hyun, Hart, Oz, and Puck. We've already seen Puck and Hyun play. We're going to see Hart and Oz kick some StarCraft 2 butt in a second. Let's just talk about that first match. Just sum it up for me. In terms of, I mean, I said before the match, got a great record, 3-1 against Hyun. He's obviously got his number. He's figured out how to beat him. But we didn't really believe Puck would win that.
I mean, often you look at that and it's like, did it really matter back then? Yeah, there was quite a bit on the line. But for instance, at one time in WCS, Puck won the first match. But when it truly mattered on who would move on, that's when Hyun won again, despite being down 0-1. And I kind of felt it was going to be a 2-1 victory for Hyun. So I'm a little bit surprised. And I really believe in Puck's chances right now. I think his PvP in general is quite solid, even though, you know, everyone complains a little bit about PvP, like, oh, I'm not that good in the matchup. But I think he seriously believes in himself as well, that he can defeat Oz. PvT is a matchup that he struggles, though. And Hard is also a tricky Terran player to go up against, but you know, that was a really good win for Puck. Also shake off the nerves, you know, all right, I can do it online, but now I showed that I can do it offline as well. It's a great way for him to start. Yeah, I mean, he came to an Intel Extreme Masters last year, and he didn't really show himself in any glory. He crashed out in the first round. In Sao Paulo, correct? Yeah, yeah. And I know that he was really I spoke to him backstage, and I was like, don't worry about it. It's, you know, one of your first early ones. It's tough when it's coming out and, you know, performing on the big stage. But he was genuinely disappointed, and I think since he switched teams in October last year, he's kind of gone, okay, I need to get with the program. I need to figure out what's going on with this, you know, this whole offline thing and work it out. He was 7-7 against Zergs before today. He's now 8 wins out of 9. Oh, hang on. 9 wins out of 10. There we go. There's some maths for me. It's worse than your maths. 9 wins out of 10 in Zergs PVZ. Mine is not as bad. Bitter is bad. Yeah, he's not even here when he's getting beaten up. Okay, let's show you the bracket for those of you who are just joining us right now. This is how Group A looks thus far. We've only played the one game, so if you are just joining us, you've only missed one, but, well, you've missed a bit of a cracker, so make sure you check out the VOD. It is Puck, the American, that advances on, and yes, that was a little surprise note in my voice as he defeats the former DreamHack Valencia champion, Hyun. It's now time to move on to Oz versus Hart. These two, they've got a little bit of form between them. Oz has the head-to-head record, 2-1 right now. It's not going to matter too much at this particular point, but Oz's PvT, not his strong suit. Flip over to Hart, it is his strong suit. TVP, he loves TVP. So does that give Hart the edge, or do you still think Oz has got the quality? I definitely think that gives him a small edge, especially because TVP definitely changed a little bit. Like, if this would have been 2 months ago, everyone would be like, oh my god, the Protoss A-ball. But we've really seen recently that the Widowmine change does affect the matchup. We see more and more players implementing the Widowmines in their style, and it makes it a little harder for Protoss. Like, in the old days, you get your charge loads ready, you have a couple of High Templars, you send everything in, and then Terran is running back. Now you can't just engage anymore like that. If all of your Zealots just run in, they're going to run into a bunch of mines. They're going to blow up. Even like just harassing with Zealots, which was really annoying for Terran to deal with. Now often you see Terran players leave like 2 Widow mines at a base. It makes their life so much easier. Having that in your mind, and then also in the fact like, hey, I can do okay in this matchup. I've done it in the past. If I was Hard, I would feel reasonably confident. Yeah, I mean, even at my lowly level, I've started to come out of the dark and started to beat a few Protoss recently, so I'm happier. Hart, let's talk a little bit about him. His results would suggest that he's going backwards since he joined Axiom. Third at MLG in 2012, round of 16 Code S in 2012, but then since then, nothing really spectacular. DreamHack Bucharest, round of 32, very disappointing. And MLG Spring last year as well, 13th to 16th. Oz, on the other side, has started to show us some real form. You look at his 2013 form. He was 3rd, 4th in Season 3 in WCS America, 2nd in IEM Shanghai, and 3rd, 4th MLG. So
are these two literally swapping places in terms of their form over the last 12 months?
I think if you look at Hard, it's a bit of a roller coaster. I definitely think that his peak was back then in 2012. I remember casting him at MLG Rally. We had a crazy run, and I really liked some of the ridiculous build that he busted out against Protoss back then. Nothing worth bringing up because the game has changed so much. But I feel that even though 2013 wasn't that good, I felt he was really solid in the round of 32. He looked better than I did for a long time. I think Axiom in general has shown us that all of their players are in good shape. There's a reason why they sent 3 players here again. They made it through. They, of course, won the GSTL, which is already 4 or 5 months ago now. But, you know, that still carries on. And if you have to believe Toto Biscuit, and I would always believe John, all of their players are practicing hard and just doing good. So I think despite Hard not having a very successful 2013, don't look too much into it. 2014, new year, he also realizes that this is a unique opportunity for him to get a really big payday again, because it's been a while. Because hey, at the end of the day, there's so much money here on the line. We're going to see a good Hard today. And I don't think we should focus too much on the 2013 Hard.
Okay. Turn our attention to Oz. Been very consistent in WCS. Round of 32 first season, 7th, 8th second season, 3rd, 4th third season. Now, by that kind of motoring, he finishes first, second this season, right?
That would be one hell of a run. I remember that season 3 run very well. It was the funniest thing when we drawed Hero against him in the round of 8, and he looked, and he's like, because he beat Hero a lot, and Hero was like, oh, not Oz. Oz had indeed a great run in season 3, but that's also been a while. Since then, haven't we seen that much from Oz? Nothing that really stands out to mind. Nothing that in the last 2-3 months, like, wow, Oz looked on fire. So I'm a little worried for Oz. I'm not sure what kind of Oz we're going to see today, but if you ask me for a prediction, I'll say 2-1 to Hard.
Okay. Oz also managed to lose to Alicia, obviously teammate to Hart as well. I mean, they're different races, but do you think there's maybe a few words of wisdom going to come from him? He lost 2-0 in the round of 32 to him. He advanced basically by beating Nest-T in the final game in that game. He beat them twice, obviously, in that Group A round of 32. Does that make any difference, do you think, with these two players?
No, not really. It's different matchup, different time, online play, offline play. Very recently, which might be worth bringing up, is that Oz lost 2-0 against Major. Of course, Terran player, but that was an online tournament, and I always, you know, it's worth taking those results into consideration, but we shouldn't blow it up bigger than it is. Losing in an online tournament like the Vazakast, I'm sure that Oz tried his best. It's not the same as WCS round of 16 offline, so he's gonna go hard. Round of 32, also, we can forget about it. It's, you know, it's a formality for those guys. They want to be there. Also, when you said as well, 2013 was a successful year in WCS. Anything less than making it, at least to this point, would have been a massive disappointment. Maybe not as convincing as some people thought. Maybe some people thought, like, Oz just going to win that group because he was top 4 in 2013. Alicia and PvP is tricky, but different matchup, different players, especially different circumstances. Also, nothing that we should focus too much on.
All right, thank you very much. It's Rod Dan. And we'll check in with him at the end of the game. Hwasung Oz was a Brood War team that Hart used to play for. It's time for him to take on a different type of Oz as he goes up against the man that finished 3rd, 4th in Season 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your commentary team for this one is Todd and Kalaris.
Thanks very much, guys. Familiar faces, but a different WCS this time, as we now delve into America. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to this group. We've already seen one fantastic game, and now Oz versus Hart.
We know delve.
Delve, yeah, like dive, like kind of, you know, you would explore a cave, you would delve into a cave.
Oh,
yeah?
okay.
I can't believe you've already started with... Anyway.
It's you, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
You used all these words.
I'll try and tone it down a little bit.
I think this is going to be a pretty cool match here. I think these two players, they have their own and specific style, and as much as we haven't seen Hart too much in action in Heart of the Swarm, in Wings of Liberty he was that player who played unconventional. He was doing a lot of 1-1-1, but a lot of his 1-1-1 builds, they were very specific to him. He had worked the timings down to the second, and he had a very, very good execution with those. So, as Roddy said, the game has changed a lot since Photon Overcharge really going to help against any kind of Banshee play, 1-1-1 and all that. So it seems a lot less likely we're going to see something like that. But Hart, that means for him, he's had to reinvent himself.
Yes.
Completely change his style over time, and how well can you do that in a matchup like Tian versus Protoss? I think it's going to be difficult. So for me, a big question mark is going to be, does he play standard with bio and a third base and medivac drops and all that? And how well can he do it?
Well, Well, I think one of the interesting things about Heart is coming into this matchup specifically is that Heart went on record during an interview or a little preview from Team Axiom to say that Widowmine was actually his favorite unit. This was quite a while ago, before this change even came in. Yes.
Oh boy.
So now that he's able to...
3-factory reactor.
Just all the Widowmines. Yeah. But now that he's actually able to implement Widowmines into this matchup, maybe we'll see a bit of that. I would love to see that. We've seen players like Neeb, for example, during WCS America, really push forwards with that kind of play. But now let's get to the map vetoes and find out exactly what they're going to do. Oz looks quite fashionable today.
Daedalus Point vetoed by Oz here. This is a very good map to play with Blink on it, but with the recent Mothership Core nerf and also the Terrans getting a lot better against Blink holdings and Blink play. As much as Oz is very good with Blink Stalkers, especially against Zerg with it, I think versus Terran is not really his style to Blink Stalker holding. His style for me is much more like Nexus first into a lot of gateways, Storm, quick third base and all that.
I have to agree with the kind of Nexus first into like bigger gateway explosion. It felt like when I was watching Oz versus Major, yes, it was online, for example, but that match we saw there, Oz didn't really look too much in a comfort zone. He looked as if he was trying to finish the games really early. He went for Nexus first into gateway play and tried to finish it early. Then he went for a proxy after that against Terran. So I'm hoping that Oz is kind of, in what you said about Heart, I'm hoping he's kind of thought about the matchup a little bit more and is going to bring more to it than just an aggressive stance.
Oh, he picked Habitation Station. This is a map where there is a gold base. We were just talking about gateways, about Nexi. Could be seeing something crazy here. We've seen a lot of quick Nexus on the gold base with the Stargates and a lot of big gateways attack for no handshake?
They're just going to go and play, I guess. They're very eager, Todd. Very eager. But I mean,
pretty cool outfit, by the way. Axiom here, really nice logo on the shirt and the cap.
Yeah, the cap's cool. The cap is cool. A lot of people wearing caps today. A lot of people wearing caps. But the interesting thing about these two first maps is that they're exactly the same ones that we actually saw Oz play against Major not too long ago in that Vasicast Invitational. So I would love to see some change up from Oz from those games. They didn't work out too well. Here is our first player, Heart. And I say, Widowmine, it was mentioned as one of his favorite units. So if we see the incorporation into that, I would love it, because Terrans putting the Widowmine in their normal bio compositions now have a lot of power play through the mid game.
Do you think there's any chance that Oz was playing very differently just because it was an online tournament and he knew that his opponents could study him later on when he was going to have to play WCS, which again is the most important tournament?
There's certainly a chance of that, because realistically, if you look at that series, Major wasn't playing the most standard of plays either. So Oz may have felt a little bit thrown off. And we've got to remember that this guy here is in the round of 16 and is currently teamless.
Yeah, which is absurd.
Yeah.
This guy is so good. I've been his teammate before. I've seen the work ethic that he has. He practices very hard, and I think he's been for a long time one of the top Protosses out there. Now with the arrival of the Kespa players, maybe not like before. I'm not sure if he's in the top 10 Protoss in the world, but I think if he goes far here, he could be considered so. And a nice fashion, man. I like the Lacoste sweater with some, is that a baseball cap or something?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It was Fnatic that you were on the same team as Oz,
yes.
Right? Yep. Wow, that's such a long time ago now that I think about it. It's like just yesterday I remember saying Fnatic Oz, and then now that has been a long time ago.
Thank you for calling me old.
That's no problem, man. You're older than me, so I can get away with it. All right, so Habitation Station is our first map here between these two players. And again, as I said, I feel if Oz doesn't change up from what he did before against Major, there could be a kind of clash of styles. Heart, if he knew that Oz was going to be aggressive, for example, all he would need to do is really sit back and greet that whenever he was. And oh, a little cheeky smile there from him. Oh, I've already said cheeky. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. All right. So
I think going to this, both players, they have to kind of anticipate what their opponent is going to do, but it's going to be hard because surely these two have been practicing in a very secret way. Barcoding on ladder, most likely, not playing in any official tournaments. The one that they played in, well, Oz used some very unconventional strategies, which I'm sure he's going to play very differently from that here. So it's very hard to anticipate what your opponent's going to do here. And one of the key points going into this kind of match is going to be adaptation. Obviously, a little bit of luck, a little bit of fortune always going to help with your build, but adapting well to what your opponent's going to do and reacting very, very quickly is going to be the key to success in this kind of a match.
Well, we're getting on with it in just a second here. Our first game of this series between Oz and Heart. And for me, this entire past week, my entire time has been dedicated to just studying these players and looking how they're playing, especially the round of 32 games that these guys played in WCS America. And it's been a treat to watch, really kind of delving into exactly how these guys play.
The thing is, they didn't play this matchup earlier in the tournament.
Exactly.
Heart, he had to play 2 Zergs. He beat Scarlet very impressively. And Oz he didn't have any Terran in his group, so he played 3 matches there, 2 against Zerg, 2 against Nesty, and 1 against Protoss. So again, we're gonna get to see what they worked on here.
We certainly will. Game on now, as we have game number 1 between Heart and Oz, Habitation Station. And up to the top right-hand corner, our red Terran, representing Axiom, it is Heart. And up to the top left-hand corner, our blue Protoss, currently teamless, it's Oz.
This cat backwards, like a cool guy that is.
He's ready, man, he's ready. I think he's been working out, he looks kind of buff.
Oh, here we go. After all the talk about Zest. So far, nothing too funky, no proxy by either players, which is good news. We've seen quite a few proxies these days, especially in PvP, and those not always provide for epic and long games. Interesting pylon placement by Oz. That means he's not going to wall off around this gas to prevent basically any kind of Reaper. Oh, actually, Gateway 12. Okay, he starts a probe. I thought for a second this might be a Gate 12 followed by a gas, which would mean he wants to rush very quickly with some Mothership Core, most likely get a Stalker behind it. But gas 13, so he could still do that. That's going to be interesting to follow. I'm a little bit surprised. I expected more Oz to be on the side of things where, oh wow, the second gas. Maybe a quick Stargate here is what comes to my mind. But yeah, I was saying, I expected more to go, Oz to go for something like a quick Nexus and then he do either Stargate or a lot of gateways rather than tech heavy. That's what he's most known for.
Yeah.
Oz is the 2 Nexus kind of guy, he's the macro kind of guy, he's the guy who took the fastest third bases versus Terran and always made it work.
Well, we'll find out in just a little bit. Simon Edit's core has been added on.
With just 1 pylon up, so this has to be a Stargate. Second pylon you see is going to be in the top right-hand side of his base.
Exactly, and I think that, you know, this comes back to what we were saying before about Oz. There is a little bit of uncomfortableness about this, and wow, Heart. I mean, he was even anticipating it as well, right? He was scouting down that bottom right-hand path. He's clearly studied his opponent. He knew what his opponent has been doing previously on this map, so Heart was taking no chances, and he's going to get in there, and if he spots that pylon up to the top right-hand corner, he should almost certainly know what's going on as well.
Oh, Heart is going to go for a command center after a barracks and no gas. I thought for a second he might go for the gold, but no, he's just going to take his natural. Wait, what? Why did he leave the main so fast?
I don't know.
I think he's thinking proxy. This happened to me recently in a game where my opponent scouted the very quick 2 gases and core.
Yeah.
He saw that that's what I had, and instead of clearing my entire main where my Stargate was, he went and scouted the entire map and found nothing. So this is what's going to happen here. As much as Heart is right with thinking that he's up against a Stargate, knowing where it is and where the Oracle is going to come from is pretty big piece of information. Oh, he might be able to get into the main. No, he's going to get out of here.
Yeah, that Mothership Core pushes him away. At least he spotted the fact that there was a little bit of a gas sank into that, but it really doesn't help because he knows how much gas has already come in and still is not aware of where its position is. But at least he's positioning his Marines already in such a fashion to actually greet what he thinks is coming along.
Yeah, not the best of builds I've seen by Oz with the execution. He was supply blocked for a little bit of time. He didn't chrono boost immediately his Oracle, so it's gonna get there a little bit later than usually, but it might be enough of a surprise to do all of that. Look at Heart. He sees an attack coming and it's natural. He sends all the Marines there. He has nothing in his main. He's getting any base, so I think he might kind of know this is coming. He starts a turret, but this is not going to be up on time.
No, it's not. That Oracle's already on its way. He's
he sends the
Marines. There we go. He should be able to push this away if they're able to get there in time. 1 Marine already goes down. Second, trying to catch a few of these SCVs where he can. Trying to negate the positioning of those Marines as they're running around that command center. And he gets a few kills. Not too bad.
Sick micro.
Yeah, very nice.
not taking too much damage on this Oracle, getting a lot of kills, maybe able to get some more units. No, they take refuge in the bunker.
Save themselves.
Is that how you say refuge?
Refuge.
Refuge.
Very, very close. Very, very close. But what's important here is the fact that it's 24 workers to 18. The Nexus start is late technically because he commits to the aggression.
Third Oracle.
Oh wow, that's so much firepower.
Yeah, Oz is gonna try to bust these turrets and this main open most likely with some kind of surprise. Nice pickup on that one SCV here. The units lost count. As you can see, quite a few units have been killed. 7 SCVs and a Marine in total so far in this game.
Wow, he's just killing off so much.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh my god, this is like the sickest driver of all time.
I mean, resources lost is 600 to 0 right now. And he's doing well in terms of workers.
Or not. Only 3 right now. No, he goes for the Robo, so yeah. Probably a Colossus transition behind this. I wonder if he goes for the turret in the main. Look at all these Oracles, man. They have like surrounded the base of Heart, and I think he's looking for any kind of small area or hole where he can do some damage, just like this.
Yeah, finds it.
CV. As long as there is no steam pack, he can never be caught up to with this one Oracle.
10 workers killed so far, and he can't really poke in too much to those mineral lines because those turrets are there. But the great thing about 3 Oracles is they're actually not too bad later on if you want to go for a frontal push with something like a lot of gateways. But obviously it's going to be the Robo Bay from here for Oz. And he's going to play it out a little bit further. Always the harassment potential here, though.
Yeah, Oz did such a good job of delaying the tech of his opponent, killing SCVs here and there. Oh my god, he's killing so much. This is ridiculous. He's flying all around the place. If I was Heart, I would start turrets everywhere because he's taking way too much damage from this.
Another one comes in from another angle. He's going to try and catch some of these Marines. Can't really run into that bulk, though. And will he use another Oracle? But he's controlling this so well because behind it, he's macroing brilliantly too. He's 10 workers up right now with technically the tech advantage with that Robo Bay finishing up as the starports just started.
10 workers lead is a nice lead to have, but it's not the biggest either because remember, he had the very quick tech to Stargate and he invested a lot into this. He sacrificed a lot of economy to be able to get this. So Oz has done a ton of work, I think more than anybody I've ever seen with 3 Oracles in this situation. Behind this, taking as quick as he is into Colossus, I have to wonder what is he gonna go to help support them. He could go for Phoenixes, which on this map really will help against drops. And I guess he's gonna try and continue to do a little bit more work with his Oracles here, but shouldn't be able to from now because, well, the building placement is good enough by Heart. He's placed a lot of Marines very, very well as well, but that Observer's seeing everything right now that he has to see.
I think what's really, really nice about this play, he's actually going to kill off those Marines so fast. This is great. He's done 1,100... Well, and loses one of the Oracles in the end, but still, resources lost is very much in favor of Oz. But not only that, the information gained is in favor of him. He's denied any movement out of Heart because he's had to defend this whole time, and he's got prepared for a 3rd base if he wants to, because he knows his opponent couldn't move out for ages.
He's not going to go for any kind of timing on 2 bases. He's just going to play it safe, take a 3rd base, and Heart is going for 4th and 5th barracks. I think we might have some kind of SCV pull here upon realizing at how much of a deficit he's in. Heart hasn't even scouted anything. He doesn't even know there is a Colossus out, there is a 2nd one on the way. A single Phoenix is being made now. These Oracles are going to do a little bit more work. Heart is in a lot of trouble here.
14 workers dead so far. The Oracles will pull on back for now, but there's, again, Order that Colossus. How are you supposed to break this? Very, very difficult indeed. And unfortunately for Heart, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's going to be difficult. Stuck between a rock and force fields. Doesn't want to go up there anytime soon.
Stuck between a ramp, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a scary spot.
Man, this has been such an impressive game by us so far. He's not completely won it yet, but he's gained a great lead throughout a lot of effort. Right from the start with all of these Oracles. Can somebody recruit this guy already?
Exactly.
This is insane.
Why is he not on a team? He's done so well. It's not just about the Oracles getting kills. It's about all the information they gather. That being said, Heart gathers the information of that 3rd base down to the bottom left, and now he knows what kind of position he's in. He's seen Colossi, he's seen a 3rd base. What can he do? He's kind of really pinned down. He has to make something happen.
Do you think Heart pulls SCVs?
I don't think he can against this. I mean, there's going to be Blink finished up as well. They're going to...
He will need to wait for at least quite a few more Vikings. He's on 2 right now, 2 more on the way. He will need to wait for at least 8, I would say. And yeah, I just don't see him starting a 3rd base, starting 2-2. Like, his economy is so weak compared to Oz's. 54 probes to 48 SCVs. Having the mules help, but oh, he's sending an SCV out. Might go for the gold base.
Oz feels so comfortable to just move into the middle of the map with his army here because he knows how much he's kept Heart down. He's even going to engage this for a second, has to run away. Revelation cast on the entirety of that. Yeah, you're not getting away from me, man. This is scary for Heart. He now is really, really having to just defend against this big push out here from Oz.
I think Heart was about to start the gold base. The thing is, he realized that he could be engaged any moment now. And since he has to make Vikings, he only made 2 medivacs. So if he steams, actually he made 3. If he steams, they're not going to have all that much energy to heal his entire army continuously. So he's in a really, really tough spot. I'm actually surprised he hasn't gone for a second starport. I think that really would have helped with this. Oh my god, these oracles are being so annoying.
Yeah, if they're not there for kills, they're there for the revelation, and
Ghost
it helps
Academy.
so much.
And still no third base by Heart. We are at the 14th minute. Usually it's the opposite. The Terran is on 3 bases and the Protoss has his delayed.
I think at this point he actually will like go with 3 ghosts and then just go for it.
Yeah, this is a very, very strong all-in actually.
Yeah, it is.
I've lost to it recently myself, and believe me, when you see this army coming, the thing is, like right now, Oz, I'm pretty sure he knows that his opponent is still on 2 bases. He knows there's the possibility for a timing. That's why he's delaying the gases on his 3rd base. You see he's not taking them. He's making a lot of pylons. Not getting supply blocked at this point is very important. He knows the timing is going to come, but what he doesn't know is that there is going to be ghosts. And if he's able to realize that there is ghost with the revelation that he used on his opponent's army, he could do something drastic, like, for example, let his 3rd base die, evacuate it, stay into his natural. The thing is, he has so many pylons already there that I don't think he's going to have a choice. He's going to have to fight. But how many colossus? 3? Heart has more army supply.
Heart has to go.
This is pretty crazy.
He's got no 3rd. He's got no like cloak or anything being researched for these ghosts. So there's no really longevity in them.
He's not making, he's not even making ghosts at all. He's just made 3.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stay on 3, which makes sense, I guess, if you want to go for this timing. SCVs are being pulled.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, how is this going to work out for you, Heart? Does Oz realize just yet? I don't think he does.
Oh, the Viking count. He was waiting for 12 Vikings. He's now on 12. 2 more on the way, so he's gonna have 14. Only 4 Colossi Force. Engaging outside of his bases means he's not going to have photon overcharge. He's going to have some time war, but the engagement could be good enough by Heart.
Really needs to bring down a lot of those Vikings, but there's a ton of them in the sky as the Stalkers positioned at the front try and bring a few out of the sky. This is going to be difficult, though. Heart's army, technically being buffered by these SCVs, is very, very strong. This is it for Heart, though. This is it.
Knock, knock.
If he doesn't kill him, it's going to be difficult. A lot of those SCVs get roasted up by those Colossi very, very quickly. But that's time taken away from the Bio now as he tries to blink forwards once again with these Stalkers, trying to save as many of those Colossi as he possibly can do in the background. But the Bio even stimming up and catching out that last Colossus as well. This is Heart's best opportunity to try and do something. But now, with a lot of Zealots being warped in here, Oz is going to try and pull back, try and recuperate these losses, but he has to run away. This is... The Stalkers, they're doing quite a lot here as the probes come off the line as well to try and clean everything up. Even Desperation landing the Vikings, but the bio is so low. Oz still has an economy to refuel the reinforcements, and he's going to kill all this off. There you go, GG. Oz is able to take game number 1. Heart, we mentioned it before, he really got stuck, and that was his only option, and it was not successful.
I thought for a second Heart might be able to take it, but nice defense.
Nice defense indeed. That was very well done by him to be able to pull back. Oh, the Zealot warp in that actually came there, I was a little bit scared that it was all just going to melt away before an engagement were to properly come on Oz's terms, on Oz's favor. But they survived for a little bit longer than I was expecting. And then from there, able to buffer just enough. So now game number 2, Frost, is our map. And it's very clear that Oz feels a bit more confident with this matchup now compared to where he was a few weeks ago. And he looked good for it. He looked good.
That was a good attempt by Heart, and I guess he didn't really have a choice at this point. Going for a 3rd base will be so hard. It would have had to be basically the gold, and he would have had to turtle a lot, and I don't think he's particularly known for his turtling. Heart is more one of those guys that says YOLO, goes for the attack, and executes it well. In this case, as scary as it looked, I guess it was weird. At first, I really thought that Oz overextended by moving middle of the map, but then he pulled back and, you know, he regrouped a little bit. I think one of the key things that Oz was missing was a Templar Archives. He completely skipped that. If he had a few Archons, even to reinforce Whis after the EMPs had been used, they would have done great. But that was one of the mistakes that he made, even though he played it really well.
All right, well, we're loading up onto game number 2 now, as we have Oz currently 1 game up in this series. Hart looking a little bit shaky, a little bit on the ropes. Can he pull it back here for himself and Axiom, as we have spawning up to the top right, that man himself in the red representing Axiom. It is Hart. And down to the bottom right as our blue Protoss, currently teamless and 1 game up. It's Oz. There was the attempt from Hart during that to make Widow Mines. He made one and it instantly died off to Oracles. So I would love to see the incorporation into that. I think Widow Mines, as of late, are really forcing Protoss to take extra precautions, are really forcing them down extra play styles to deal with. But maybe he's not as comfortable with it just yet. A lot of Terrans aren't as comfortable with it just yet.
I was already going for a different pylon than we saw in the previous game on this map. You have, obviously, Reapers can be annoying, so we'll go for a little bit of a wall-off here. You think Nexus first? Look at how many probes he's queued. I think Nexus first.
Could do.
This is the good old Oz that we know and love.
Yeah, the flamboyant Protoss that's like, nobody beats me in PvP, and then goes Nexus first, and then someone beats him, and it's like,
This was like the worst time to go Nexus first in PvP when he did it.
That was so
It's
funny.
only good against people who don't scout, and back then everybody was scouting.
Yeah.
He's actually going to go for a scout here pretty early on. I guess he wants to know if he's up against a command center first, how safe he's going to be with this. And he starts the gateway pretty late, so it's going to be gateway Nexus or maybe gateway gas Nexus, which you're going to be able to take a little bit faster than if you just go Nexus first and then make the gateway.
I do like this a little bit better because...
What is this scouting pattern?
He's scouting cross positions because he's scared of he's anticipating a Reaper timing, and if it's not up in the top left, then maybe it's in close positions, and then the Reaper gets there a little bit quicker against this Nexus play. Because if you're going for like this earlier Nexus, the Reaper's always really annoying, right?
Yeah.
So he confirms that he's not in the top left, and now he knows that he's like close.
Maybe he wanted to full Hart. If Hart had been in the top left,
maybe,
then he would have seen that probe get there very, very quickly. He's like, you know what, you're next to me, and then he sends the Reaper there.
Well, now he might actually send this Reaper cross because of that way that probe came out of there.
Yeah, you see, he's fooled him.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Meta game. Mind games.
Oh, but look where he sent the probe, actually. The probe is now idling over on that left-hand side.
I think because he knows there could be a Reaper. Actually, this is going to be mistimed a little bit. Could meet that Reaper here in a second.
That's so weird how that's worked out. That is so strange. But he's like, oh, you scouted up here, I saw your probe. That means to mean you're down here, but you're not. What a bizarre turn of events in this first game.
When scouting fails.
Oh, well. So, Nexus is going to get away with that by the time the Reaper gets over there. Most likely the Mothership Core should push it away along with the Stalker. At least a little bit. Make sure he doesn't lose too many probes, or any probes at all, aside from the one that was already lost.
Yeah, you think... Actually, Hearts... He's still mining a little bit of gas out of... With just one SCV. He started the second barracks. I wonder if he goes for a factory decently quick behind this, or maybe starts some kind of +1. He hasn't made any kind of eBay just yet. This is a bit weird. See, he starts mining with 2 SCVs now. I guess he wanted to have a few more on the minerals. At least 15. And Oz is the one who's going to have a choice of tech here to make in a second as well. He goes for a second Stalker before throwing down any kind of tech. I think Forge and Robo here will be a pretty standard way to play this.
But I think also, if Oz was able to get full information on what Hart's doing...
Where is he sending his mothership for? Oh, he saw the Reaper here, so he thinks... What the hell?
I don't know, man. I don't know where it's going.
He thinks that Hart is on the bottom left-hand side.
But the probe and the SCV cross paths up to that top left as the SCV was
but maybe the
coming from
SCV could have come from the bottom left.
Maybe. That's a little bit strange.
Didn't see that.
Well, one thing's for sure is that Oz is looking for information now because he wants to, you know, just find out exactly what his opponent's up to and then from there on make his choices. He's already going for the Robo, he's going for Forge, but if he knew that it was 3 gateway opener, I think he would feel pretty safe in his defense.
Yeah. Out of all possibilities, Hart goes for concussive shell first. So this could mean he wants to go for some kind of very quick aggression. This is 3 barracks. And use that to catch some stalkers. I was gonna have to be careful here. One of those could be caught. I'm surprised Hart doesn't send Demolder first to make sure he can catch it. Actually, concussive shell not even finished yet. It's gonna be in a few seconds here. Double gas war made and double forge behind this by us. So I'm not a big fan of the location, but I think it's not gonna matter too much just yet because the Medivac tech is very, very late by Hart. By the way, well, the factory is not being built right now. Big mistake by Hart.
Yeah, he needs to get that going as quickly as possible. But this is kind of what I was alluding to before. If you know that there's going to be a 3 gateway opening and he poked forwards and saw this composition, you don't really have this composition without a 3 barracks opener. And then he goes double forge behind that because he knows he should be able to defend against this. So this is really, really smart here by Oz, if he can hold on, that is.
Upon seeing how much army he's up against, he's going to get an Immortal out of his Robo. I like that he has a sentry up the ramp. Some Terrans sometimes, they will try to steam and get up there. And he would be able to prevent that here, especially since Hart doesn't have steam.
Yeah, that's true. A little bit more difficult. Now 1-1 starts for him, along with +1 for Hart, but the double upgrades here, if they get Chrono Boosters out for Oz, they can give him significant advantages in the mid-game, as he also throws down his Robo Bay as well. So Hart's got some catching up to do in terms of where these builds are at, I feel. It's going to be, well, we'll see what he wants to do from here.
This is, again, very, very standard play by Oz, which for him is actually not standard. Oz is that guy who plays unusual, who takes quicker third base than other players, who takes to Zealot Templar and has barely enough to defend when a Terran starts pressuring. Nice scan here, saw basically everything that there was to see in the main.
Apart from the second forge, though, he didn't see the second forge.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a bit of a blow. And the thing, it was just barely out of range to actually be spotted. 4 extra gateways now. Could add on a few more even if he wanted to. I mean, this is Oz country right now. And Hart, he's pretty far away from home.
Yeah, he's getting a 3rd command center behind this, so gonna be playing it very, very standard himself this time. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for his 2-2, later on gets a Ghost Academy. And now he knows that he's up against Colossi, so it's gonna be interesting to see how quickly he goes into a 2nd starport as well, which I really think will help in being able to make enough Medivacs for his army and having enough Vikings to deal with the Colossi. Oz, he's got pro production here for a little bit. I don't think Oz is really the guy you almost never see do 2 base timings versus Terran, in my opinion, against Zerg. There would be some chances, but against Terran, I just don't see it happening personally. He's sending a probe around the map though, and he's queued some pylons to make out on the map.
Yeah. Just so that he can zealot harass later on. Very, very good option here from Oz. And will he... Well, I mean, even if he doesn't see this army coming along, he still has enough to greet it with the Colossus that's already out, and 2 Immortals in that composition as well. Yeah,
it's a great choice by Oz to cut pro production now and focus on his army production, just because this is the time where the Terran is going to try and do as much damage as possible. Oz is getting his 2-2, he just started it, so if he can complete that without taking any damage, he's going to be in a great position. He's going to be just so far ahead on upgrades. He's going to be able to have a choice between attacking or upgrading more himself, and I think he's going to be able to start a 3rd very, very soon here as Blink is about to finish.
And 2 big differences in this game are that 1, Hart didn't really take too much damage in the early game. 2, that 3rd command center is now done. He could land that at the 3rd base and really start cranking out a good set of macro because he's already at 130 supply. His army supply is rocketing up pretty nicely. He's at 80 right now. So this is certainly a much different game from game number 1, and Hart has a much better chance. Despite the 2 upgrades, though, he really needs to identify that those are rapidly increasing.
Yeah, I think rapidly is the word understood and the correct word here, because that 2-2 is so fast. Oz, he's been focusing. Look at the energy he has on his next side. So little energy. He's been spending all of it into his upgrades here. He used some on his Robo to get some Colossi out quickly as well, but maybe just want to look. It's only his forges being chrono boosted at this point.
This has to be scary time for Hart, where going up against this kind of 2-2 army, and especially if 3-3 gets out at a rocket pace as well, Hart is going to have to do something. He doesn't have a 2nd engineering base.
Oh, he didn't see the army position. He could be caught out of position here. Blink is finished.
Colossus felt a little bit scared.
Oh, he's reacting very slowly.
And he will catch a little bit of that. Tries to get a medivac on the retreat out, but doesn't get it there.
I'm surprised Oz isn't going for an attack here. He just finished 2-2, and he has 3 Colossi. He could have actually warped in a lot of units with all these gateways and gone for an attack before there's too many Vikings, but instead he chooses to go for the 3-3 upgrades, which at this point, Heart is 1-1. He hasn't started an armory or a second eBay. Heart is going to go for the same thing as he went in the previous game.
Yeah.
And he's most likely going to be able to hit before 3-3 is up by Oz, but it's going to be very, very hard for him to make it work. 3 ghosts were made again, and this is such a strong attack here. It didn't work in the previous game, but it almost did. Is it going to work this time? I really love, by the way, that Oz again is keeping the gases on his third base. He doesn't need those. He needs as much money as possible.
At least Heart's going here before 3-3 is anywhere near completion. So this is going to be his best chance to really cripple Oz as his army supply is 130 against 93.
His Mothership Core is out of position.
Where is it?
He's going to need that around his natural. He's going to need that for one time warp, 1 photon overcharge, ideally next to the fight is what you need. The Mothership Core is not moving. I guess he has force fields to buy himself some time. If he can get closer to max out, especially that 3-3. If that 3-3 finishes, is going to be the biggest of deals. Needs to be careful not to get the sentries EMP'd, in which case Heart will be able to move up that ramp very, very easily.
Any SUV dying is a nice pickup here.
Yes.
Whoop. Catches another one there, but this
I think Oz could just evacuate or let that third base die, make sure 3-3 finishes. 3-3 seconds away from finishing.
Yeah, that's what he's looking for. If you can finish that 3-3 against 1-1 is going to be a huge, huge difference. The Vikings positioning and poisoning themselves to try and catch any Colossi that would stray on forwards. There's actually not that many Stalkers, only 8 with this. So even killing these Vikings is going to take a long, long time. Zealots now charge forward, so this is all before 3-3. EMPs hit a lot of the army there of Oz. There's still a lot of bio behind this army with not too many force fields really cutting up anything, and the Colossi are rapidly falling. Oz is trying to push this back. His upgrades are doing well for him, but can he hold on? I think with these extra Zealots. No, it's so close. It's so close.
The Immortals really helping. The Vikings gonna land here, and the photon overcharge was completely useless. The fight was happening outside of the range of that. Oz, he didn't want all of his units to be clumped, so he fought outside of his natural.
Yeah, these battles, they've been so hard to call.
Heart, even though he's quite far behind on walkers, he's gonna have some mules to work with. The thing is, his Viking count has been reset, and
3-3 finished.
Yeah, if Oz is able to get 1 or 2 Colossi, look, he starts a Temporal Archive and a Dark Shrine. He's that confident in holding. He has a few sentries ready to force fields. He has an observer above his opponent's army. And Oz is feeling confident, even though he's on 2 bases second 3.
1 Colossus is about to finish, and there's no Vikings to deal with it at all. This 1 Colossus is going to rule the roost. With 3-3, any Zealots he warps in from here as well. How can Heart break this?
It's that guy from high school Roti talked about earlier.
He's back, man. He's back. He's back to take all that lunch money.
Ready to bully Hearts.
Poor little Heart, he needs to run away. He needs to tell the teacher really quickly, because that guy...
That's what you did.
No, man, I didn't get bullied. I'm fine. I'm okay. Even though I'm a ginger. Anyways, blinks forwards, kills off some of these medevacs, and this Colossus is just going to town. Heart now is in a little bit tough spot. He does need some units to tank for him, though. Has to be careful. Doesn't want to overextend with that Colossus.
Oh, a single Zealot in the third base of Heart is actually doing quite some damage. 2 kills. It damaged a lot of those SCVs. If he was able to send another one later on.
Yeah, those pylons up to the top left really paying for themselves. Now 3 Zealots warp in. He knows he's holding back home. He knows he has 3-3 against 1-1.
This is too big of a difference on upgrades here, I think, for Heart to be able to win this. As much as he has a big and strong army. Look, the Zealots now gonna keep on wrecking the economy of Heart. He even evacuates before the army can come back. Oh, DTs are being sent.
Oh dear.
And there's no turrets anywhere. And actually he has a few scans. Oh, he just landed. He just landed some mules. He's gonna have a single scan available from the orbital that he has in his main. So that means he can kill one of those DTs that sits Heart starts turrets everywhere, but too little, too late.
That's a heartbreaker for him, especially considering that he wants to be spending it all on mules because his economy was shot because he did send all those SCVs over there. So it's going to have to be EMPs.
That's pretty cool. Nice micro. That one is going to try to dance around. We know dancing with the stars, now we got dancing with the ghosts. Trying to dodge some EMPs, but actually it's being neglected right now. Oh, actually a single ghost trying to get it.
Nom nom nom. These DTs really going to town. If he was actually...
Oh, the one in the third base was just EMP'd and killed.
He could have taken down some of those ghosts. Any unit he kills, anything he kills here is great for him. Behind this, he's got High Templars, Colossi on the way, extra Zealots. Everything's going Oz's way now.
Has killed 48 SCVs this game.
Nice.
So he's done work already, and it's really showing. Now he's going to start really taking off in the supply counts. And I think if Oz from there just plays it safe, keeps on massing, maxes out, there is no way he's going to lose with 3-3 against 2-2. He's even getting some Archons now. Not even going to bother going to Storm. At least not yet. I see he's keeping 2 Templars. Oh, never mind. He goes into an Archon. He's going to add the gases on his third base. And Oz has played this beautifully. So many Protosses would have died from these attacks, from those big attacks, which are oh so hard to deal with.
Yeah, I just don't see how Heart breaks him now. This is going to be very difficult.
He heart breaks him.
That wasn't a pun. The other one was a pun. This one wasn't. I didn't mean to do it. Damn it. But we just have plenty of army here for Oz. It's the superior army. It's the stronger army. How many Vikings does he have? 6. 6 against 4 Colossi.
That's really good numbers here. And it's only going to be up to those ghosts to make something happen, but overall, Oz has such an insane lead that I think there is no way he should be able to lose this. You will need to take the worst fight of his life to lose it, and even then, I don't think that will be possible. Yeah. SCVs are being pulled again, though.
Here we go. This is it's a real throwback, man. I haven't seen this amount of SCV pulls for quite a while, but here we go.
Yeah, it's funny how Oz knows, by the way. He just got scanned by a turn that's broke. He's like, oh gods. Wave number 2.
I know what's coming. And he's got so many force fields in this army. As long as he doesn't get EMP'd, he's going to be able to cut it up easy.
I'm surprised he's sending as many Zealots as he is across the map in the third base of his opponent.
Tries to catch the ghosts with the Stalkers. There really isn't that many Vikings, so really doesn't need to deal with those too much. There's not that many Zealots to tank for this army. So those Bio coming down from the left-hand side, catching one of those Colossi. Will he be able to catch it in the end? It doesn't, but he didn't have any Zealots to tank with that.
Wow, the 3-3... not proving to be enough just yet in this fight. Oz is going to be pushed back. This army is looking pretty scary, but look, the Medivacs, they don't have any energy to keep on healing it.
Yeah.
If Heart steams again, his army is going to be so low on hit points. Let's keep an eye on that. If he steams again, oh my god. Do not steam.
There was just a lack of Zealots. It was very Stalker heavy that weren't really doing what they needed to.
Everything's super low, but Oz doesn't have that much army. He's waiting on more units. He has 3 Archons.
They really need to do a lot. The probes are going to act as the Zealots here, with a few of them backing it up as best they can do. And Zealots coming up from the left-hand side, trying to trap as much of this as possible. But this is Heart's last move. And there you go, GG. Oz is able to hold on. 2-0 victory from Teamless Protoss.
I have to wonder, if he hadn't steamed there, if he waited a little bit more, at least until the engagement began, and then stutter stepped, the best he's ever did, I think maybe Heart might have had a chance.
Could have, certainly could have. And there he is, Mr. Oz with his first victory in this
Nobody
group.
told him anything, he just stands up.
No, he's just like, it's
my time.
I am king. And he did well for himself. He did well. So that was very strong defense there by Oz against those plays, but also very strong aggression, what we saw in game number 1 with that 3 Oracle play. Ever so pesky and always really relentless with his position. There was nothing Heart could do. He couldn't move out. He couldn't get any information about his opponent unless he was to drop a scan in there, and even then he could have missed what it was up to. So that was a tough first game, especially there for Heart.
Yeah, that means he's going to have to face Hyun too.
Oh yeah,
not a happy news, I'm sure. Even though he has some very scary TVZ. He beat Toon Ming in round of 32, and then he beat Scarlet 2-0. So he has some pretty good TVZ himself.
Yeah,
I would say, knowing Heart's history, following him on Twitter, TVP is probably his weakest matchup. When you see what he writes,
he doesn't like it too
about
much.
Protoss, I don't think he's a big fan. So as much as Hyun is a very tough opponent, he's probably gonna prefer it. Playing him over another Protoss, even though I guess you could argue that Puck would be an easier matchup, maybe.
Perhaps, but Puck showed very good colors in series number 1.
But I think Puck's PVZ is by far his best matchup.
Yeah. He really showed against a player like Hyun. Hyun does get stuck in the mid game quite a lot of times. I would like to say that's kind of where I go to when you see players like Hyun play. And
he gets stuck in the mid game.
Yeah,
somebody takes him there, and he's like, "You're gonna stay there now."
Yeah, he's just like, "Stop." I mean,
you stay on roaches, Hydralisk, and Corruptors. You don't move from there.
I mean, in European scene, Tefl's one of the guys that I will compare to Hyun's position in that you know, kind of gets stuck in that mid game. And if
he doesn't get stuck, he puts himself there.
Okay, well, dude, I love Tefl. He's great. But yeah, put capitalized on that. And now Oz, likewise here in PVT, was able to deal with very, very strong, you know, kind of that mid-game play there from Mr. Hart. But Hart doesn't really feel like he could have played it out longer. So, for now, we are going to be looking forwards to our winners match, which is going to be between Oz and Puck. Some PvP.
Already. In the winners match, how many Protosses in round of 8? How many do you think? We had 4 for Europe. And it started badly. In the first 2 groups, it was Zerg Terran and Zerg Terran.
Because there were no Protoss.
So, what's your point? That's my point. There was no Protosses in those groups.
Well, we'll find out. We shall find out. There's a lot of good Protoss here, but not to mention there are a lot of good Terrans and Zergs in our round of 16 for WCS America. Group D, for example, we got the big powerhouses like Pult and Bomber in there. So, or is it Taser and Bomber? It's one of those combinations. So, guys, we shall be done here at the commentary desk. And now it's over to Paul with some lovely WCS America things.
Thank you, Kalaris. Yeah, things indeed. Things that include Rotterdam after a very good victory by Oz. Rotterdam is back with me at the analysis desk. That was kind of disappointing for Hart. That first game, I look at it as a Terran and you just cry when you see that amount of Stalkers left over after you've destroyed all the Colossus. Because for a moment you're kind of like, yeah, I killed all the Colossus. Oh, I'm still going to lose. It's kind of disappointing. And the second game, better from Hart, but still Oz just had that touch of quality too much.
Yeah, a bit identical, I think, both games, and kind of an interesting playstyle by Oz. It's a playstyle that has fallen out of fashion a while ago, and, you know, we all started opening up with Charge and High Templars because we were sick and tired of those SCV pools, and now the Widowminds make the Charge slot style a little harder again, and here it is. Oz already busting out Colossus Double Forge style, but it was a little safer than what we used to see in the old days. Like sometimes they used to go Double Forge Colossus and really quick 3 bases. Well, then you're basically signing your own death sentence because that's just an open invitation for the Terran to do this. But he did it remotely safe, but still good enough. It was close at times, but he was able to pull it off.
Can you honestly believe this man is currently teamless? I mean, seriously, if there's any of you managers out there from big clans right now, or any of the medium-sized clans, and you're looking for a StarCraft 2 player, which you absolutely are, by the way, here's a fantastic career to pick up, and he's in the round of 16, the upper bracket final.
No, definitely. I mean, there are a lot of good players teamless, but especially Oz, since he's quite often in the spotlights as well, and obviously doesn't mind traveling, enjoys, and also has quite a bit of personality with the cap backwards and all this stuff. This is a new Oz. This is the street Oz.
The street Oz. He's down with the kids.
We're going to call him Lil Oz.
Lil Oz. Okay. Okay. You're going to break down a bit of the game for us. So why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yes, I'm going to keep it rather short though, because we got a long day of StarCraft ahead of us. But this is the first push. Funka can just go ahead and play it out. If we take a look at the supply, 189, I believe, against 159. 131 arm supply against 95. Yes, that is good, but exactly like Le Tot said multiple times in the games, upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. 4 Colossus with 2-2 upgrades. That's really scary for Bioball. If you take a look at the Viking count, it's 12. It's good, but it's not the number that I would like to see. I really think, especially when you're down in upgrades, when you face Colossus with +2 armor, I think if he has 14, 16, 18, yes, I know I'm pushing it then, but I think you're looking at a whole different ballgame then. The Ghost, you know, they are good, but I feel they don't add as much in a situation like this as they normally would. Like often when Protoss players play this style, it was you get the Ghost because you don't want to fight against an army with Storm, but there was no Storm. So, you know, if you ask me, would you rather have these 3 Ghosts or 5 extra Vikings? I think I'd go with the 5 extra Vikings, but that's just a personal choice. Oz sacrifices this 3rd base because he realizes that Hart is pulling all the SCVs anyways, has no armory, so it's not like Hart can just send these units back, because then he's still sitting with his 1-1 army, and at the end of the day, what is he going to do with 1-1? This is the big fight. I must say it looked good for Hart. I think the EMPs were good, but it just takes a while. Look at those Colossus. Look how much damage they're putting out. Also, he split focus fire a little bit. One Colossus low HP, other one, you know, falling bit by bit. I just feel that the Colossus pushed out too much damage. We can fast forward here a little bit. That's an excellent time warp, by the way, allowed those Zealots to do. It looks close, but on this point on, with Photon Overcharge, and above all, the reinforcements as Protoss, you know, every Zealot right now is worth its weight in gold. Zealots with 3-3 against an army that, like Todd said multiple times, just didn't have too much healing power anymore because Hart only had one starport. I think maybe a second starport instead of the Ghost Academy would have been better. Then he had maybe a few more Vikings, a few more medevacs. I think that could have made the difference. I love the Dark Templar position. It was a really ballsy move by Oz, despite being like on the verge of almost losing, even though like I guess it was under control, but still, normally as a pro, you should be like, I need to hang on, I need to hang on. Oz is like, I'll warp in Templar Archives and a Dark Shrine because I think I'm fine. And he was fine, despite losing the third base. This really bought him a lot of time. Hart still managed to push out one more scary army, but once again, guys, 1-1 against 3-3. And this time the Viking count was nowhere near where it should have been. I must say this fight was closer than I thought it was going to be. Like the EMPs were good, he waited with them. He almost lost the Ghost in the start of the fight, then he didn't. Then he landed some reasonable EMPs. Like Kalearis pointed out, there were not too many Zealots. I love this small little hit squad on the south side trying to run around those force fields, trying to do some extra damage on these Colossus. And he will push it back, but from this point on, reinforcement Zealots are just going to be way, way too strong. I think this is where Oz used the panic control F2 hotkey. He's like, man, I really need all my units here. And he even ends up almost losing that. You can see those Zealots ignoring that Marauder. They were definitely called to rescue, but right now every Zealot and above all the Medevacs, no healing energy at all. So one more stim and these Zealots, they are not going to die. Those Archons are not going to die, and GG was called. I must say that Hart made it look closer than I thought it was going to be. But in the end, you know, upgrades pretty damn good. And above all, maybe not enough Vikings, maybe not enough Medevacs from time to time.
You said earlier on, we were sat down watching the first game together, and you said, why is he building Ghosts now when there's no Storm out? And then he did it again in map 2. So did you identify that as a common problem for Hart?
I mean, I'm not sure if it's a problem. Maybe, like, there are two choices. Either he's building a Ghost Academy because he's on autopilot mode and he's like, I want to have at least some EMPs in case there are High Templars. Or
he didn't scout them either, did he? He didn't see anything. So he wouldn't have known whether they were or they weren't there. Was he guessing?
Maybe, but of course, second choice is that he wants to make Ghosts regardless. This day and age, you don't need Mobius Reactor anymore. EMP still does damage. It helps out zoning out the Sentry energy as well, or making it a little less. So it's not like the Ghosts are useless. But if you ask me, second starport a little quicker, I personally think I would like that a little better. Then again, what happens if he makes a second starport and then there is a Templar Archive? So you
suddenly we're into
like, why doesn't he have any
scissors again already? Thank you very much, Rotterdam, with the analysis breakdown. We are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, though, it's winner time because the two winners of our first two matches go head-to-head. It's Oz versus Puck for a place in the round of 8.